administration is not in a hurry to name a successor to Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, whose term runs through May 2026. In interviews recently, Bessent stressed that Powell does not need to resign, despite President Trump's repeated calls for him to step down. While Trump has said he would not fire Powell, he has openly hoped he quits. Bessent confirmed discussions on potential replacements are underway, with several strong female candidates both within the Fed and among regional bank presidents being considered. He also renewed calls for a sweeping internal review of the Fed's operations, excluding monetary policy, saying the institution has expanded unchecked for years. Criticism has grown over the Fed's $2.5 billion renovation project, with Bessent highlighting the need for oversight and accountability. Meanwhile, Powell has given no indication he plans to leave before his term ends. Markets widely expect the Fed to hold interest rates steady at its next meeting, but are pricing in a possible rate cut by September. Now we go to our guest discussion with Raymond Vickery. Raymond, thank you for staying with us. Now, what's your reaction about this news?
Well, it seems to me that what Secretary Bessent is doing is trying to get the horse back in the barn, if you will, after the remarks of President Trump that he wants Powell to step down, he wants to destroy the independence of the Fed. This has had a very adverse market reaction. Secretary Bessent has a Wall Street background, and he understands how dangerous it is to destroy the independence of the Fed. You know, we've had an independent Fed in the United States since 1912, and markets have come to rely on the Fed as a check on what politicians want to do, which is to have easy money most of the time. Politicians, by and large, say, yes, let's lower interest rate, let's get things going, but it's like a sugar high, if you will, because the after effects are very bad. But most politicians are not interested in the long term. Many of them, some of them are like President Trump. What's in it for me right now? And if you can lower interest rates and have a temporary high, then you can say that you have accomplished something. So Secretary Bessent is trying to assure the markets that there will be independence of the Fed. At the same time, he's trying to placate his boss, if you will, President Trump, by saying, well, there's been mismanagement and we have to have a review. The ironic factor in regard to the $2.5 billion which has been spent or is being spent on renovation, not only the Fed, but next door, the Department of the Interior building is also being renovated. The ironic part is that cheaper materials were prescribed in the first point, and it was Trump people who said, well, let's take this and change it from plaster to marble. Let's upgrade this. Let's make it look more like the Oval Office, if you will, which if you've seen pictures lately, show a very gaudy gold and marble approach to interior decoration. So that's what's going on, and Bessent is trying to balance his obligations to try to keep the market steady, at the same time placate President Trump, who wants to aggrandize power in regard to the Fed in his own hands.
Thank you very much, Raymond Vickery, for joining us and sharing your insight as a U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce.